Hello, this is Goldyn Duffy, and this is episode 4, Your Beliefs Create. We are going to dive deep into belief systems today, and we're going to uncover and dissect those belief systems that you may have that are creating what you do not want. You know, we have these cycles in life, we have these themes that we're working through, and many times it can be belief systems that are underneath the surface that you're not aware of. So I'm going to blow the lid off of that for you, okay? Let's go. So excited. I love this conversation because it's so important to creating. If you don't get to the foundation of your belief systems and figure out what they are, and B, do you want them, you will only keep creating what you have been in the past. So our belief systems were created from the age of birth until about 5 to 7 years old. That's when most of these foundations have been created by our parents, our grandparents, the people who raised us, our teachers, influential adults that are around us, siblings, anyone in your life that was a person of influence. Social programmings, the things that were going on around us, the things that were happening in the world have shaped and formed who we are, but not necessarily who we want to be. So we really have to look deep in what we believe and why we are attracting that, why we want to attract that. Are we choosing that, or is this something that has become a programming in our life that we need to deprogram? We need to deprogram those beliefs that are creating the opposite of what you want. Our belief systems are created by things that happened that may have been traumatic. So in our traumas, many times we don't remember those traumas many times, first of all. That's why meditation and going within is so important, because it's going to start to reveal these things to you. When you start asking within about where these belief systems came from and where the foundations are, you're going to get answers. That's the work that I've done with people in the past, is going within and asking those questions, just finding out, why do I believe this? And do I need to keep believing it? Because many times we don't need to keep believing it. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. Let me say that again. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So beliefs can be changed very easily just by creating a new belief system. You can't change beliefs necessarily, but you can let go of the old ones. And I actually have some tools for you to do that. You can let go of the old ones and infuse the new ones and create a whole different experience in your life very quickly. That's what quantum leaping is all about. It's being able to do this very quickly so that we don't spend years creating the same thing over and over again. And at this point in your life, you're probably pretty done with whatever theme that you've been experiencing that is not serving you. Because if you're listening to this show, I'm guessing that you are interested in manifesting new experiences, a new journey, and finding out what the intricacies that are involved with manifestation process. And that's the beauty of beliefs. That's the beauty of identity creation and the things that I'm going to go over today. So social programming is a really interesting thing. And I read this really cool book a long time ago, and I had never heard this before. And I want to share it because it has been one of the things in my life that I think has altered the way I look at society, the way I look at the things that society brings to me or the news brings to me or different movies and things, that I look through the lens of where is the social programming? Am I being programmed? Because there's so much going on right now that we could be considered programmed. And if we're not aware of that, we're actually going to create from that. So this book was written by Randy Gage. He was a network marketer, and it's called "When You're Dumb, Sick, and Broke: How to Get Smart, Healthy, and Rich." Really good book. A lot about the laws of the universe. I learned a lot about universal law in that book. That was like in the beginning of my journey of universal law. But one thing that he brought to my attention was the social programming in movies, and he used the Titanic as an example. And the idea behind it was, when you looked at the movie The Titanic, the poor people were down below partying, having a good time before the ship started going down. They were having a great time. And the wealthy people were on top being stoic and, um, living in their egos and not really having a good time. They needed to worry about what they looked like and they couldn't really have fun. And it's so interesting when you think about that, right? And then when the ship started going down, the rich people were all entitled to get on these boats to save their lives, and they're pushing the poor people aside. I mean, there is a programming in that rich people are evil, that money is the root of all evil. I mean, think about some of the programmings that we have been given over time and we have created from them. If you believe that money and wealth is evil, you will never attract it because you'd have to become an evil person to do that. And I'm guessing that you don't want to do that. So you have to start cleaning up those belief systems and look at really what you grew up with as far as like a lot of different subjects. But if we were just to take money, what did you grow up with believing about money? Were your parents poor and jealous of the rich? Were your parents pretty well off? Was there never really talk about money? What was the belief system? Many of us, if you're my age, which is like late 40s, grew up with grandparents that grew up in the Depression era. If you have depression energy in your genealogy, like if you were connected to that generation, and even if they weren't in your life experience, that energy was still creating through your parents. If you had that going on, there may be a lot of lack you need to clean up. A lot of, different things that the depression did where it's like, that whole like, don't waste things. And, just that energy of the depression that is definitely a current in our, generational line. So these are things that we need to clean up because these are belief systems that were handed down to us that no longer belong. Like that depression energy no longer belongs in any of our lives, and we should not be creating from it because it's filled with lack and scarcity and feeling like we're not supported and feeling like we're not safe. So a lot of that going on right now too. If you think about what's been happening with this, pandemic, I hate to even call it a pandemic. It's so ridiculous. And when you think about, what has been ingrained in all of us through this and in our children and being afraid and not trusting our own immune systems and, just being told what we need to do and being told that we need to, go certain places and not do certain things and all of the things that go along with that, many of us can feel like our freedom is being taken away. But if we come from that energy, if we activate that energy, if we fight against, we're not doing ourselves any favors. We have to go where we feel the freedom. We have to go within. We have to create from our own freedom. And we have to stand in our power, especially right now, and not give into the social programming that we're not safe or giving into, what it looks like is going to happen. I see so many people flipping out on social media about what they project is going to happen. And we can't let this happen. And it's like, why would we pay any attention to that? We need to focus on our prosperity, our lives, what we can do, and take the attention off of all the things that are happening that we do not like in order to infuse that. So look at your belief systems when you were growing up. What kind of belief systems did your parents hand you or whoever raised you? Were you told that you were a bad singer? Were you told that you were bad at art? Were you told that you were bad at math? What were you told by adults who didn't necessarily understand your gifts and talents, who didn't really see you for who you really are? We have the potential to create. We have the potential to become the identity of whoever we are interested in becoming, but we cannot do that if we have a belief system that goes against that. If we have a belief system that tells us, oh, you will never be successful. If you really want to know what your belief systems are, start tuning in and listening really closely to what your self-talk is. What are you telling yourself every day? Are you telling yourself that you can't be successful, that you'll never get anything done, that you're late, that you're sick, look at all the things that you are telling yourself, that you are allowing your mind to convince yourself of every day. And that will tell you where your belief systems are at, because that self-talk is so much of the belief systems that we created from that time of when we were small. You know, these things happen, these experiences, these judgments, they all happen to us. And then as we take them in, okay, we experience more of it, because as we believe something, we create it. And that's what I think can be very frustrating right now is, you know, we have a group of people on one side that believe something, and because of what they believe, they activate and attract more of that. So they have a lot of evidence for their beliefs. And then you have people over here that believe something else, and they have tons of evidence that they have gathered and attracted because of what they believe. And these two groups are trying to come together, or not trying to come together, and convince one another of their own belief systems that just don't line up. So that's a complete waste of energy right there. So just let that go. Stop trying to convince people of what you believe. The only thing, the best thing that you can do when it comes to a situation like that is just live by example. Live by your joy. Live by, creating, live by standing in your power. That is the most effective thing you can do when it comes to showing someone else another way, not by trying to throw things down their throat or convince them of something that they don't have evidence of. Okay. So a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. Let me say that again. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. And it's a thought that you've kept thinking for so long that it becomes a foundation of your vibrational alignment. What that means is it has tuned you into a radio station that has allowed you to continually play the same music over and over again. So if you have a theme in your life, let's say it's financial struggle, let's say it's broken relationships, any theme that you have running in your life that is less than optimal, it's less than what you want to create, there is a belief system underneath that needs to be cleaned up. And I'm going to give you tools to be able to do that. We've got these subconscious components, okay? So I really it used to drive me nuts, this whole subconscious thing, because I'm like, if we have these things in our subconscious, how could they possibly be creating if we are unaware of them? So it's not necessarily what's going on in the subconscious. There's evidence of it outside of you. So it's not just what's going on in your subconscious. But this is why meditation is so important, because it's going to help you to go within and start uncovering those belief systems that may be in the subconscious that are creating. So I don't love the idea of believing that we've got this subconscious that keeps secrets from us and that we can't tune into it, or that we need somebody else to go in and find out what's going on. No. That's a powerless position to be in. We have the ability to go within and ask these questions and find out, what is this vibrational alignment with this belief system? What is this belief system that continually creates financial struggle in my life? Or what is this belief system that continually creates broken relationships? There's answers within you that are so necessary for your growth and expansion. It's really super important. So meditation is key. I actually have on Facebook, we have this private group called M21 Revolution that I run with my partner, Jess. Fantastic group. We have hundreds of videos to support your meditation practice, and we are launching a new challenge May 1st. So you can join that group. It's totally free. And then when we launch the challenge, we just ask for a donation for an exchange of energy, because we are in there a lot. We spend a lot of time in there, and we are very supportive. We're supportive all the time. That's a community of support. But during the challenges, there's a lot of accessibility to us. So we just ask for a donation to exchange energy. If you're not exchanging energy with people, you're either taking or you're always giving. And there's not a lot of benefit in that for anybody. So pay attention to that. That's important. Exchange of energy. Where in your life, this one just came. We got to talk about this because this is important. Where in your life are you exchanging energy and there's not an even field of energy exchange? Are you just given, and they're just taken? Because if that's the case, you're going to run into resentments and you're not going to have a beautiful flow of joy in your life. So pay attention to that, because that's important. Okay, so a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. think about those beliefs. What are the beliefs that you have about yourself, about your ability to create, about your ability to be a powerful being? What are those beliefs? Do you even have those beliefs strong enough to activate anything, or do you need to work on that? I'm going to give you some tips on that too. All right. So traumas, when we have traumas in our childhood, and they don't have to be like crazy, abusive, neglect. It doesn't have to be that intense. I actually had a client once. This is such a good example. She had this belief system that she was always wasting her parents' money. So she went away to college to be an actress or something. She went to acting school, and she spent all this money. This is amazing. She spent all this money, believed that she was wasting her parents' money, and then she never did anything with her degree, right? Of course, like the ultimate in wasting money. So we did some sessions together, and we came to this realization that when she was 4 years old, this just popped up in our meditation together. She had dropped a quarter in between the seats of the car, and she knew her family didn't have enough money. So that was the vibrational alignment, right? There's not enough. There's scarcity. And she thought that quarter was going to make or break her family. And she was mortified, and she couldn't get the quarter out. And, she went crying to her mom, and it wasn't a big deal, right? Like her mom didn't even make a big deal about it. But for her, there was this vibrational belief that she had wasted their money. And so she created that through her life experience. So as she got to college, she had this belief, and it created, of course, and then she had this, big loan that her parents had to pay back. And so over the course of doing this work together, that loan ended up getting forgiven. I have no idea why. It was completely miraculous. Actually, I do know why. It's because she healed that inside of herself. We went in, we released those belief systems, we created new beliefs, and boom, miracles happen. And that's what happens when you do the work, when you go within and you do the healing work. So the trauma that may have created the vibrational alignment that you're experiencing right now may not be this catastrophic event. So you go into meditation, you ask yourself, what is my belief about money? Is this belief about money creating abundance for me, or is it keeping me from all of the abundance? How do you feel about really nice cars, or really nice homes, or really wealthy people? How do you feel about them? That will tell you your belief system right there. Because how you feel about them is what you create with them. So if you have a belief system that wealthy people are evil, or they're not generous, or, they're keeping it all for themselves, they're hoarding it, and it's not fair to everybody else. If you have that belief system, you will continue to create evidence around that, and you will block the flow of blessings that can come to you. Jealousy and any of that energy that's around that negative energy that's around creating, will keep you from creating. So how do you feel about that? You really got to ask yourself how you feel about that, and then begin to clean that up. So look at your feelings around the themes in your life. So what are the themes? Like if you could think of yourself like, what is the cycle that I've been living over and over? And maybe you've done the work. Maybe you've cleaned all this stuff up, and this conversation is not about you, but you can see it for other people, I am sure. So it's helpful to know this information, because you may have cleaned it up and not even known how. So it's really good to know this about other people as well, because people will create certain things with you because of what they need to heal. And once you know that, then you get super high perspective. Then you look at other people and you look at what they're creating, and you don't own it. I put up a post the other day about how I don't put my worth on someone else's expansion. I don't put my journey, I don't put any stock in what you create from what you hear from me, or what you create from being friends with me. I don't put any stock in that, because that's not my work. My work is just to be who I am, share what I know, let this wisdom flow through me. And if you take it and run with it, hell yes, I'm so excited. And if you don't, it's all you. It's all up to you. If you're going to continue to complain, and you're going to continue to do the same things over and over again, then I probably won't keep extending a bunch of energy to you because I know where my energy is valued. So that's also an important lesson for you. Are you wasting your energy on people? Because sometimes we are, and sometimes we get really frustrated and we keep trying to convince people of things, and it's not necessary. Okay. So when it comes to, going within and asking yourself these questions, you may have things that are going to start popping up. You may have memories that are going to pop up. You may go, oh, wow, I didn't even know I believed that. But I can see how it's creating. I can see how it's continually creating the same cycle in my life over and over again. And now I'm getting the tools and the information that I need to create it differently. Yay. Okay. So let's talk about a few of those themes that you may be living or that you may have had experiences with in the past, and maybe you have grown a lot and you've worked past them. Freaking cool. Proud of you. Abandonment. There's a lot of abandonment. Ooh, if anything happened to you when you were a child where you were disconnected from your mother, whether it be adoption or even just like your mom was sick or any of those things, and a lot of these things we won't even really know, right? But if you have a running theme of abandonment, if you feel like people are leaving you all the time, there is a belief system under there that is really valuable at looking at. Okay, that's the first step, is looking at the belief system. If you have feelings of not being good enough, if you have feelings of low self-esteem and low self-confidence, if you've got a lot of bullying going on, like look on the outside of you and see what's happening outside of you, because whatever's happening outside of you is something that you have going on within you, especially if you feel triggered, if you feel really strong emotions towards things, if you have this overall vibrational output constantly that you're being ignored or pushed aside, or all of those feelings are creating from that belief system. So this is how you break. This is how you break from those habits of thought, those habits of feelings, those habits of emotions. Joe Dispenza puts it as an addiction to emotions. And I totally believe this. And I came from a background that didn't believe this. My belief was we have layers and layers and layers that we need to peel back in order to heal. My belief now is it's all about the interruption of the thoughts and the addiction to the emotions. Once we interrupt the thoughts, this is the same thing that goes along with any addiction that you have, whether it be alcohol, cigarettes, pot, drugs, a person, TV shows, whatever that addiction is, it starts with a thought. Our addictions, our habits, our emotions always start with a thought. And remember, we have these neural pathways going on in our brain, right? And in like the law of attraction, we have 16 seconds. They somehow scientifically figured this shit out. I'm not really sure how, but 16 seconds before we change that thought. Once we change that thought, interrupt that thought and go in a different direction, we will not create from it. But if we don't stop that train from going, down the runway, another 16 seconds, we're going to pick up another thought just like it, and another thought like it. At 68 seconds, we're going to start creating from physical manifestation. Okay. So when it comes to an addiction or an addiction to an emotion that activates a bunch of energy in your field, the trick is to head it off, right? I've seen this so many times. I'm in a lot of like alcohol-free groups, and I've seen it time and time again. A craving for an addiction lasts probably not even 5 minutes. But because of that craving, what we do is we start to ramp it up. We start to drive the train a little faster. And then before you know it, you have the drink in your hand because you have entertained enough of that neural pathway to get it into physical manifestation. So the trick is to interrupt it, go do something. Physical, they say, move a muscle, change a thought. So true. Physical activity can distract you from anything. So whatever it is that you're trying to interrupt. So if you have an addiction to an emotion, right? It's first of all awareness, which I always say is not enough. Awareness is great, but it will cause you to beat yourself up if you don't do something about it and you still do what you didn't want to do. So awareness is great, but it doesn't change anything. So you have the awareness. You have to step into the interruption of thoughts. I don't want to go there. I'm not going there. I'm going somewhere else. That's not going to create success for me, right? Whatever mantra you need. I put mantras on index cards. I'm going to read these to you because it's backwards on here, but I'm going to read these to you because I have 2 mantras that I've been saying at night whenever I wake up and in the morning when I wake up before I go to sleep at night, and sometimes throughout the day because it's next to my bed. So whenever I see it, I will say it. I'm going to share that in a second, but you can do that. You can put up index cards to interrupt thoughts. What am I focusing on right now? Is it what I want? What am I focusing on right now? Is it what I want? Is this belief that I keep thinking going to get me to the ultimate goal of what I'm looking to create? If that belief isn't going to get you there, you have to shift out of it. You have to interrupt it and you have to start creating from new belief systems. So once we have, something happens, we create a story around it, right? We start to gain a judgment about it. We start to feel a certain way. We start to, have these beliefs about it. What we've done in, the laws of quantum physics is we've created energy. And the more we feed that energy, the more we're going to see the physical evidence of it, right? So we have that thought, we have that feeling, we have that belief. It starts to come out as waves of energy, right? As that wave of energy gets going and it really gets a lot of momentum, it starts to break down into physical matter and it becomes your experience. So get a handle on what's coming out of here. Get a handle on what's coming out of here, right? Your heart, your mind, what are you entertaining? We had a funny thing at the gym the other day. And it's so funny because I went to the gym. It was like Saturday morning and I was sore and tired and all the other stuff from the week of, and I never think about whether I'm going to work out or not. I don't consider, because if I consider, I most likely will talk myself out of it, because the mind's job is to keep us safe and to keep us the same. Okay. So that has to do with things that are going to improve our life experience, that are going to expand us, allow us to grow spiritually, physically, mentally. That has to do, with exercise or, when we're studying something that we're interested in, or when we're about to create something new. There will be a war on us to create something new. So it's really important not to allow the mind to talk you out of things that your heart, that your soul is calling you to. Be very aware of that, because I think I had shared about The War of Art. That's a book that I read. Right before I wrote Quantum Speak, I listened to this, and it shared so much with me about our fears of creating, our fears of putting our voice out there, our fears, like the resistance, the things that will stop us from actually creating are all those beliefs and judgments underneath that need to be cleared. They need to be cleared out. And the way to do that, of course, is to go within, quiet your mind, create space. That's what we're doing in meditation. We're creating space between the mind and who we really are, that intuition, that intuitive part of ourselves that is connected to the energy of all that is. As you turn the mind down because you practice, because you made that muscle stronger, you will turn up the volume of your intuition, and you'll be able to create more from miracles. You'll be able to create more from energetic wisdom, from being connected to the energy of all that is. And that's when you're going to start getting these really cool opportunities and bumping into people, and all this miraculous stuff will happen. Super awesome. Okay. So what do you really believe about yourself? This is a really important part of this conversation, because whatever your self-talk is, whatever that, if it's critical or if it's, just putting you down. I was recently with someone who just constantly was putting down their physical appearance. Oh, I hate this about myself, and I hate this about myself. And I just thought, oh man, you can't change your physical appearance by hating yourself. You won't do it because if you have that much self-hatred, exercising and eating right is an act of love. It's an act of self-love. So if you have all of this self-hate, you will sabotage yourself. You will end up eating all of the crappy food because there's an emotional field in there that is absolutely toxic to your goals. It's toxic to what you want to create. So we have to look at the self-critical, like what is that self-talk? What is your self-talk? Are you beating yourself up a lot? Are you telling yourself you can't be successful? Are you procrastinating a lot because you're scared to move forward because you don't think you have what it takes to become more, to become the identity of what you're looking to create? I mean, some of these belief systems, you guys, are total bullshit. And when you recognize them, and you start to become more aware about it, you can start telling that inner voice, that critical self-talk, to F off. You can do that. You can say, you know what? Shut up. That's not who I am. That's not how I'm going to create this. I remember, I think I shared this on a recent podcast about waking up in the morning and our bank account being, negative, going, of course, it's like the first thing you wake up to, right? It's like the first text message that your bank account is overdrawn. And I remember looking at that and going, I'm negative in the universe, really? Like, there's no way. I am so abundant. I feel so. It became a laugh because I was so aligned with my own abundance that there was no way that that could be true. It just was total BS. And so now, there's not a lot of self-critical stuff going on for me. I recently had some experiences where details became an issue for me. And that's kind of been a running theme in my life that I'm recognizing. Like, I don't pay attention to details because I'm moving fast and I'm a big picture gal, so the details can escape me. I could definitely benefit from some sort of assistant at this point in my life. But how do I clean that up? The first step was this big fat ass mistake that I made that affected some people, was to look at where I screwed that up. Like, just to look at and go, all right, well, I could have done this and I could have done that. The second step was to let it go, like to let that shit go and not to talk about it, not to tell everybody about it, not to feel miserable about it, not to beat myself up about it, not to go over and over and over and over in your head. And I know right now you're thinking, when stuff like that happens to you, it's very difficult to not let your thoughts think you, right? Like when you have a fight with somebody or something, really energetically extreme happens, it's very challenging. This is part of mastery, to let it go, to not activate it anymore, to just keep interrupting those thoughts, because the truth is, my going into self-talk about that and beating myself up about it is not going to change anything. It's actually going to keep that activation alive, and then I'm going to create more evidence from it, right? Because I'm going to keep thinking that way. And then I'm going to keep creating and screwing up details because I'm bad with details. How many things do you say about yourself that you're bad at? How many self-deprecating things do you say per day about yourself? I'm always late. I'm a mess. I'm really bad with money. Think about all those things, all those beliefs, all of those activations and those stations that you are tuning your radio to by saying them over and over again. And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It doesn't freaking matter. It only matters what you're doing today, what you decide for yourself today. So as you decide, I am getting better and better with details. I am paying attention. I am reading things twice. I'm slowing down. That's a big thing for me, to slow down, to really be sure, to double check. My husband is so good at this, that I can emulate him. He's showing me how to do it, right? So letting go of that, abusive self-talk about whatever it is that you've decided about yourself is number one to changing something, that critical self-talk. Now that may feel like you have this person inside of you that you have no control over. You've entertained this voice for a long, long time. You have believed this about yourself for a long, long time. So how do you shift that? Energy release work, going within, deciding you don't want to feel that way anymore is one of the biggest things. Like, that's not who I am anymore. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. I say that a lot. I'm not doing that anymore. Nope. Nope. Not going to entertain those thoughts about myself. I'm not going to create from that wound, whatever that wound was, of not paying attention, of not creating from details. What are you afraid of? That's the next thing. What are you afraid of? So, what is the biggest fear that you have that's attached to doing what you want to do, creating what you want to create? Those desires that are like out here that you feel so lackful of, that you feel so miserable about. What are you afraid of? Like, what is keeping you from taking a step towards that desire and actually manifesting it? Because as soon as you clean up how you feel about it, as soon as you clean up those belief systems that tell you that you can't have it, as soon as you do, it's going to be like magic. Like, it happens so fast. Remember, everything is energy. As you activate, so it becomes. So as you activate something different, the energy can shift very quickly because you're no longer on that station. I mean, think about it. When you change a station, it's instant, right? So it can be that way with this as well. The only reason why it's not instant is because of momentum. So you've got a lot of momentum involved. You have a lot of things that you need to, release. There's things that you need to let go of. There's things that you need to no longer activate, no longer energetically align with. If you've had this beating yourself up thing going on for a long time, the fact of the matter is you've got to continue to interrupt this activation of energy, this momentum, over a small period of time, not a long time, just a small period of time. And that's why I say meditation, you can feel the benefits of meditation in 3 to 4 days. I've seen people where they feel like their whole life drastically. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the negative self-talk because that is not helpful, and that is not actually going to help you become the identity of what you were looking to create, because I'm guessing that you don't want to create any more of that. So let's put an end to it. Okay, so the mantras that I've been doing before I go to sleep were actually given to me by a guy who does some subconscious. He works in the subconscious. He does some really interesting stuff just to help you to release some stuff that you may not be aware of. So that was an interesting thing that I just did. These were the 2 mantras that he gave me, and I keep them on a card, and I've been saying them a lot, and I really do feel a difference. Like, I'm really feeling a difference in my thought patterns about what I've been creating and just the energy that's been coming towards me. It's been very interesting, and hopefully I can share all of it soon. Okay, so the first one is I freely and easily release the old. So simple, right? I freely and easily release the old. So that means all the old thought patterns, all the old energy, all the old judgments and beliefs that are not helping me to create what I want. I'm releasing them. I freely and easily release the old. So easy. Write it down. I freely and easily release the old. And the next one that I've been doing is, and I just say it a couple of times. I don't even know. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I say it a couple of times, say it throughout the day. I joyously welcome the new. I joyously welcome the new. And the interesting thing about this last statement here, I joyously welcome the new, will help you to push through some fears. It will help you to take steps towards what you're looking to create a little more easily because you are joyously welcoming the new. You're not in resistance to it. You're not in fear of it. You're joyously welcoming it. So as you're falling asleep at night, you're reprogramming your subconscious to say, I love what's coming. That's new. I'm letting go of the old. I'm releasing the old. So I freely and easily release the old. I joyously welcome the new. So simple. The simplest little phrases that can begin the process of interrupting these neural pathways that no longer serve you. freaking brilliant. I swear. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Simple and brilliant. And that's the thing. We're constantly overcomplicating this stuff. It is so simple. Manifestation is one of the simplest things we can do. Where we get tripped up is when we get in the way of it. You know, when we're trying to make things happen, when we're working hard, when we're forcing energy. You know the feeling of forcing energy. You know, this was the old energy of, I got to set the goals and I got to go out and kill it. You know, that was the old energy that created, you know, a lot of production. It definitely creates production, but it's often very hard. I was in network marketing. I set goals. I killed it. It was hard. It was hard and I hated myself for it. I did things that I was not proud of. So in order to clean up that energy and that energetic connection towards what you want to create, it's a flow. It's being in the flow of universal energy. It's feeling. It's allowing yourself to work from the framework of what feels like ease and flow. What's the path of least resistance? That's our new saying. Okay. What's the path of least resistance? Like what's flowing? What feels good? You know, what feels good to us? What's working? And going with that energy means you're going to experience ease and flow instead of, you know, working so hard and not being able to create because you're in the way of it. So sometimes you got to back off, right? You got to back up a little bit from what you've been doing so that you can change the energy. Because again, remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So take a look at your belief systems and see which belief systems you have been creating from. All you have to do is look at your life. Look at what's been coming, look at your relationships, look at the way you've been feeling, and that will tell you everything. That's the window into how you've been creating. Are you always coming up short? Do you have lack mentality? Are you concerned over just, tiny bits of money? Are you feeling the constriction of money? Are you feeling like it's going to run out? I mean, all of that stuff is energy, and we're either going to let it flow or we're going to keep the flow from coming. Okay, so I'm going to just do a brief, a belief system cleanup. That's what we'll call it. It's like a tune-up for your belief systems. So this is where we get to do a little meditation together. So you can close your eyes, keep your back somewhat straight, and just take a couple. If your feet are crossed, uncross your feet. You want to keep your body in alignment as much as you possibly can to not block the flow of energy. So you're going to take a nice deep breath with me and just blow it out. And again. And when you blow out, just allow everything to like release. So let your shoulders relax, let your eyebrows relax, just let go of all the tension. So take another deep breath and allow yourself to just to be in this space of here and now, the space of clarity, the space where there is no thought. And we just have this clear slate to work from. We call it zero state awareness. That allows us just to create from. So it's that freshness, it's that newness. Yeah. It's that joyousness in creating from the new energies. So I want you to go within and let's just go into the heart. I'm being called into the heart. So I want you to go into your heart. So just imagine that you're in that area. There's some heaviness in the heart. So I want you to ask yourself, what is that belief that's causing this heaviness? So this is for somebody, maybe everybody. So I'm going to take a deep breath and we're going to release on the way out all belief systems that we are unlovable. Release all belief systems that we are unforgivable. Release all belief systems that we are not good enough, that we can't do enough, that we can't be enough. Release all energies of low self-esteem, low self-confidence, all the energies of woundedness and trauma. Let's just release that from our entire field. So coming all the way up from the feet, just release. Releasing all unworthiness, all lackful energy, all generational energies of depression, of suicidal tendencies, energies of feeling not powerful, all energies of feeling less than. Just release all of those energies, all of those low vibrational belief systems. We ask that they leave our fields, they leave every cell of our body, they leave our DNA, and they allow us to no longer operate from low vibrational belief systems. So releasing all energies of lack, of scarcity, of fear, of not trusting our own bodies, of not trusting our health. Release all energies of sickness, disease, ailments, anything that creates anything that's less than joy. So just release all that energy. So toxic relationships, that toxic self-talk. Let's take a deep, deep breath and release all self-critical energies, all those low-level belief systems that were given to us by people who are disconnected. And let's release all energies of being disconnected. So now we have this beautiful, clear space to fill up, and we're going to fill it up with these new belief systems. I easily and freely let go of the past. I easily and freely let go of the past. I joyously welcome the new. I joyously welcome the new. I am a powerful creator. I am connected to the energy of all that is, the infinite wisdom of all that is. I am able and willing to live my gifts and talents. I am deeply connected to the love that I have for myself and for the unconditional love that is given to me just for being here. Just for being here. I don't have to do, I don't have to be, I don't have to have. I just am loved. Just allow that love to just fill up your heart. I believe that I am forgiven. I believe that I am whole. I believe that I am confident and strong. I believe that I am fit, healthy, productive, and centered. And just allow all those energies to pour in your body, just taking them all in, soaking them up, allowing them to infiltrate every cell in your structure, infiltrating your DNA, up-leveling your experience, and allowing you to become fresh, new, activated, and to create from a transmission that is energetically sound. We are transmitting energy that is sound, real, whole, and filled with love and joy and appreciation for the being that you are, for being here, for listening, for being interested in your own expansion and growth. Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations. That was awesome. So those transmissions are given to me. I don't plan them out. They just happen. So oftentimes, even when I'm not doing a live show, the universe knows, like God, source, whatever you want to call it, it knows what people need, and it just comes through me so that I'm able to give you whatever you need to allow you to release these low vibrational belief systems, allow you to turn the station so you can hear the songs you love, so you can feel lighter. Let's feel lighter. Like that was a lot of heavy energy. That was a lot of heavy belief systems. We deserve to feel lighter. And that's one of the biggest things that you will find from a meditation practice is you will start to feel lighter. It's actually like inviting in more light because we live in this dense society. We only we really have only grown up with, maybe you've grown up with something different, but most of us have grown up with this idea of like, it is what it is. Reality is all there is, and there is nothing else. And what we're finding through study, through through my own life experience, is that there's all this energy around us that we're not aware of. And once we become aware of it, we can tap into it. We can invite it in, we can connect with it, and we can start co-creating with it. So it's not just up to us. We have this partnership of asking and receiving, of, allowing that exchange of energy to take place because we believe in it, because we ask for it. I was away with a couple of girlfriends in Palm Springs recently, and we kept seeing all these numbers, and it was so crazy how many times we saw consecutive numbers like 333 or 777 or 111. And you can look up the meanings of those if you want. There's lots of different like angelic number readings. For me, I see 444 a lot. To me, that's my angels like just letting me know that they're along for the ride and they're here with me. When I see 777, I know I'm in full alignment with my purpose and my joy. And usually whatever I'm talking about, it's like confirmation that I'm on the right road. When I see 888, I think abundance. I always feel, and I feel the abundance. Like I feel the energy, right? It's the infinity. It's the infinity. It's like the never ending abundance. It's like going to the ocean and watching the waves. They never stop. There's an abundance. And if you really tune into abundance, all the abundance that's around you, you're going to feel more of it, and you're going to start to attract more of it. And it's not necessarily money. Money is definitely a part of that abundance energy, but it's just a feeling, and the feeling is the manifestation. So pay attention to what's going on around you. And one of my friends was like, how do you guys keep seeing this? And I'm like, because we're paying attention, because we're looking for signs, because we're living in wonder. We're living in the awe of like, what could happen next? Like, I don't even know what could happen next. It's like such a miraculous universe that at any moment in any time, something fantastic could happen. When you come from that energy, whoa, your day becomes something totally different. You're no longer in the monotony of creating. You're just in the experience of this wonderful, adventurous journey that you get to create. You get to call the shots. That's what this is all about. So let's create this together. Let's create a fantastic experience together. You can find me on Facebook at Live Life Goldyn. There's actually a group, a community that we have. We were like over 300 people now, which is so cool. That's where you'll see my quotes every day. I'm also Live Life Goldyn on Instagram and now TikTok. So who knows what that's gonna do? Because I feel like TikTok is just a forum for me to be ridiculous, I think. We'll see. Who knows? But those are places that you can find me. I also have a website, Live Life Goldyn, where you can find my books. I have Quantum Speak and Quantum Speak for Parents, which are great navigational tools to understand manifestation at a whole different level. I really dive into, just the different steps and the different methods and the different ways to pay attention to energy and the different ways to create. So those are awesome. All right. Well, that is my show for today. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening and for subscribing. I'm on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. If you can leave me a review, that would be awesome. I'm just really getting my feet wet in this podcasting game, but I feel good about it. I don't do an intro and an outro, just so you know. I'm not about wasting time, about wasting people's time. So I'm kind of like in and out, not big on editing. I'm just using my voice in the simplest way possible and kind of figuring out as I go along. So it may get better. It may not. I don't know. Let's just hope it doesn't get worse. But hey, what we believe is what we create. So I believe it's going to get better. And I'm so excited for what's to come. Hey, and if you have really cool manifestation stories, please share them with me. Also, M21 Revolution, that's where we teach people how to quiet their minds. We have tons of cool videos in that site, and that is on Facebook. That's a Facebook group that has about 200 and something people in it. So we start that challenge on May 1st. If you're interested, that's going to be an energy transmission challenge. So there's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of energetic connection to what you're looking to create. And we're going to manifest the shit out of stuff in there. It's so cool to do that with a group of people. All right. Love you guys. Peace.